I grew up in a broken home. My father was a drunkard, a chain smoker, and a drug addict. He was involved in car theft and even imprisoned for a month. There was no peace in our home. My 6 siblings and I were surrounded by constant fighting and crying. Out of anger, I cursed my own parents. I longed for love, but kept finding pain. Even so, I kept searching for someone who could fill the emptiness inside me. But the man I chose was just like my father, full of vices. We had already had 1 child together, and when I was pregnant with the second, he was unfaithful. I ended up leaving him and raised my 2 children alone without his support. Bitterness and heartbreak became my daily companions. Desperate for a change, I went abroad to work in Saudi Arabia. But I came back with nothing. Then I took out loans for 45,000 pesos to process my job application for Hong Kong. In my first 3 months here, I spent my days off with friends, going out, shopping, drinking, but the sadness never left. Then a former coworker introduced me to her friend, a so-called VIP, at a financial bank. She offered to be my guarantor for 20,000 Hong Kong dollar loan. We split the funds, but then she disappeared without paying her share. I was left in huge debt, harassed by collectors who sent letters to my workplace and even threatened my family in the Philippines. I took loan for the purpose of buying a tricycle for my family's livelihood, but it was gone. I fell into depression. I cried in secret. I couldn't sleep. I felt trapped. At the help center, I found comfort. So I persevered attending and was baptized in water. I even joined a campaign of faith and sacrificed the money I was using to pay the bank. But deep down, I still felt empty. I was making requests for material blessings without first resolving my inner issues. I continued joining BYG meetings and services, but with time, I started to face financial struggles again. Instead of exercising my faith, I spent less time working on my spiritual life, even missing BYG meetings, and instead worked extra job and did business inside the church. That's when I finally saw the problem. I had been following my own will, not God's. I wasn't seeking the helper, the Holy Spirit. That same year, another campaign came, and I said to myself, this is it. I climbed the altar of righteousness, not for material blessings, but for the baptism in the Holy Spirit. I asked God what He wanted from me, and I listened to His voice. I focused on Him. I started obeying the teaching and applying them into my life. I attended services more often, joined the prayer of agreement every night. I spent more time reading and meditating on His Word, and read church books to grow spiritually. I also began praying early in the morning. I removed distractions. I stopped my online selling, gave up my extra work, and stayed away from social media. I stopped worrying about where I would live in the future and focused on examining myself and letting go of my past. I asked forgiveness from those I had hurt. I forgave myself, my parents, and the father of my children. I rejoined the BYG, helped clean the church, participated in evangelism, and surrendered on the altar even my snack allowance, something that used to bring me comfort. In the end, I was left with nothing. There were no backup plans, just me and the will of God. Seeing my sincere effort to live righteously and to please Him, God began to act and brought divine justice into my life. He removed the depression, the hatred, the bitterness, and gave me His will, the Holy Spirit. Since that day, I have walked in righteousness, with peace and joy inside me. The just judge also worked in my finances. Today, I am debt-free. I've learned to say no to bank financing offers, and I manage my salary wisely. I am now processing the turnover documents for my own house in a subdivision in Antipolo. And now, both my sister and I are blessed with new employers who share the same faith. Through prayer and perseverance, my family has also been transformed. My mother, my sister, and her 2 children, and my own children now attend the UCKG Antipolo. My mother and sister have been baptized in water. My father is no longer addicted. My mother, who once beat us in anger, now patiently takes care of her grandchildren. I surrendered my children into God's hand. Today, they are growing spiritually in UTF, and we have been strong, healthy relationship. The difference in them is undeniable. Even though their father had never reached out, not even to visit. When I told them he was in the hospital last month, I was surprised by their response. They choose to visit him, they forgive him, and even prayed for his recovery. In that same spirit, just the other day, on the anniversary of the church, I was moved by the Holy Spirit to reach out to him and his new partner. In my heart, I had already forgiven them, but the Holy Spirit led me to speak with them personally, for all of us to have full closure. During our conversation, his partner became teary-eyed as I told them both that I had truly forgiven them. It was a moment of healing, a true blessing. The righteous judge took me out of brokenness, and he filled the missing piece with the Holy Spirit. And now, I live not just with peace, but with purpose.